What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the FantasyPros YouTube channel. My name is Lucas Wenzel, and today we're going to be talking about 10 players on the waiver wire I am looking to stash ahead of this weekend's slate and ahead of next week's waivers as well. But before we dive into any of that, if you want your chance at winning a signed CD Lamb Dallas Cowboys jersey, courtesy of our friends over at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now and comment below on this video. That is it. That is all you need to do. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new videos are up and to claim your prize when we announce it. There's been a lot of action in Jacksonville this week, and with James Robinson now on the Jets, JaMycal Hasty is the first player I'm looking to stash this weekend. Doug Peterson has already come out and said that Hasty's carries will go up. His only other competition, rookie running back Snoop Conner, has yet to be active for a game this year, so you can bet on Hasty being ETN's backup. His standalone value right now is borderline non-existent, but we've seen Doug Peterson utilize running back committees in the past, and all it would take is for ETN's foot to flare up to get JaMycal Hasty even more touches in this offense. Maybe I'm just a sucker for Bills slot wide receivers, but in my eyes, Khalil Shakir needs to be stashed in a lot more leagues. The best part is that he's almost certain to be sitting on your waiver wire right now because he's available in 99% of leagues. He filled in nicely for Isaiah McKenzie and Jamison Crowder in week 5 by scoring 16.5 fantasy points on 75 yards and a touchdown. The Bills are just coming off of their bye week as well, so Shakir could see an increase in snaps now that the team has had some extra time to evaluate talent. McKenzie also hasn't done anything significant to maintain his role as the main slot wide receiver in this offense, especially after his week 6 performance right before the bye. As we're getting into the second half of the season, I want to stash pieces that have a chance to break out on dynamic offenses, and I believe Khalil Shakir fits that mold. Damian Williams has been on the IR since week 1 with a rib injury, but could return as soon as this week. Arthur Smith has kept no secrets about wanting to run the ball as much as humanly possible this year, regardless of the team's success. The plan from the get-go this year seemed to be a split backfield between Cordero Patterson and Damian Williams, and despite Tyler Algier taking on a bulk of the work in recent weeks, he hasn't done anything special to solidify a role moving forward. The schedule coming up for Atlanta the next 4 weeks is really nice as well. They get Carolina twice, who's 24th in schedule-adjusted fantasy points allowed to running backs, the Chargers, who are 29th, and the Bears, who are 26th. Let's get ahead of the curve here and stash Damian Williams before he's back on the field. While your league mates are enamored by Wan'Dale Robinson, do yourself a favor and stash Darius Slayton, who's available in 96% of leagues. Over the past 3 weeks, Slayton has totaled 16 targets and has seen 50 or more receiving yards in 2 of those games. The schedule coming up is pretty soft for Slayton and the Giants, who get Seattle, Houston, Detroit, Dallas, and Washington the next 5 weeks. Wan'Dale is worthy of every ounce of hype he's getting, but to ignore Slayton's production seems silly on a 6-1 team that shows no signs of slowing down. I've already talked about one Buffalo Bills rookie, why not add another? James Cook is rostered in 22% of leagues, and we could see a second half emergence from him. Cook could see the rookie bump in snaps and reps coming off of the Bills bye week. We're still waiting to see that electric game from Cook though, but he is top 20 in true yards per carry this year at 4.5 yards per tote. I refuse to believe that the Bills spent the draft capital they did on him to not get him more involved in the second half of the season. And now that the Bills are coming off of that bye week, now feels like the perfect time to stash James Cook. This is a big speculative ad, but after being traded to the Arizona Cardinals, I want to stash the potential of Robbie Anderson now being paired with a dynamic quarterback. He only played 12 snaps on Thursday Night Football last week, but that was to be expected as Cliff Kingsbury said Robbie would be limited if he did play. The team wasted no time trading for him after Marquise Brown landed on IR with a foot injury, and there seems to be a role for him in this offense. DeAndre Hopkins will stick to his usual route tree, Rondale Moore fills in the slot, and Robbie would be used as the field stretcher. He's got a solid schedule coming up before the bye, and like I said, he's worth the speculative stash at this point with the change in scenery and quarterback play. This Jets backfield is somewhat murky after the confirmation of Breece Hall tearing his ACL and trading for James Robinson earlier this week, but I'm still interested in stashing Ty Johnson, who could see a slightly increased role in this offense. Even with Carter in the lineup last year, we still saw a nice stretch from Ty Johnson in weeks 7 to 9, where he saw 12 plus fantasy points and scored twice in those 3 games. Now, a majority of those points did come on receptions and with no James Robinson on the team, but Robert Saleh has said that they'll likely ease James Robinson in. For now, I want to stash Johnson just on the possibility he craves out a role for himself the rest of the season in this offense. Somebody had to replace Robbie Anderson as the wide receiver 2 on the Panthers, and we now have our answer. Terrace Marshall Jr., who's rostered in only 1% of leagues. He played a whopping 86% of the snaps in week 7 after not even seeing 50% the first 6 weeks. He finished second on the team in receiving yards last week and gets a great stretch against Atlanta twice and Baltimore in 3 of the next 4 weeks. A lot of targets have opened up on this team, with Christian McCaffrey now on the 49ers as well. So look for Terrace Marshall to continue picking up some of the slack behind DJ Moore in this offense. I brought up his name last week in my waiver wire stashes, but time is running out to stash Rams rookie running back Kyren Williams, who's rostered in now 38% of leagues. Cam Akers and the Rams are actively looking to part ways, and now that he's designated to return from the IR, Kyren Williams should carve out a solid role in this Rams offense pretty quickly. All of the buzz about Kyren this offseason was that he was going to have a much larger role than expected. So now you eliminate Cam Akers from that equation, and you have a potential second half of the season sleeper for fantasy football. His schedule from week 10 on is pretty favorable as well, and this will likely be your last chance to stash him on the cheap before his return. Lastly, Treylon Burks isn't quite eligible to come off the IR yet, but let's get proactive and stash him now before your league mates jump on him. This Titans passing attack needs something to change, and a spark from the young rookie once he returns could do the trick. Prior to his toe injury, Burks was seeing 65 to 70% of the snaps in weeks 3 and 4. He's still top 25 on the season in target separation as well, and once the Titans get him back, they could, and frankly should, look to get the ball into his hands as much as possible when Ryan Tannehill isn't handing it off to Derrick Henry. All right, y'all, before I get out of here, remember, if you want your chance at winning a signed CeeDee Lamb Dallas Cowboys jersey, courtesy of our friends over at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now and comment below on this video. That's it. Maybe you agreed with the stash that I mentioned, maybe you 100% disagree. Either way, that is all you need to do. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize when we announce it.
Thanks for tuning in to the FantasyPros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos, and while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.